Hello, wonderful humans. Welcome to episode 4 of Tara Time. Now, I am super happy to be here again talking all things leadership, all things business, and all things Tara. Now, today is slightly different, and I just want to check that everybody can hear me because I'm having a couple of sound issues here. So, if you are on live, come and give me a wave and tell me you're here and that everybody can hear me. And also, if you watch this on the replay, please do hashtag replay because I'd love to see who's watched this back. The replay will be there on YouTube as well, on my YouTube channel, which is at Tara Brevitt. Okay, I've been told that the sound is fine. The replay will be on at Tara Brevitt. So this week is slightly different. I was due to have a wonderful guest, Nisha Mistry, on today, but unfortunately she's sick. And so that has prompted me not to cancel, but instead to go ahead and take the opportunity actually to talk about saying no when it's right for us, especially when it comes to being sick, when it comes to our health, and actually looking after ourselves first. So I, in the past, have been, and this is a great topic as well, because personally in the past, I have been extremely guilty of not looking after myself when, work gets busy, putting that first, not, turning up when I'm sick, showing up when I shouldn't be, and I should be laid in bed resting. So today was that opportunity for me to talk about that and bring the topic to a forefront. So, like I say, if you're watching live, come and I've got my laptop up here, so hopefully I can see any of your comments. I want to know, is it something that you struggle with? Like this power through mentality of, I can't be seen to be sick. It's weak. I've just got to power through. I've got to show up anyway. Got to do it anyway. For me, it's really, really toxic, and it created a horrendous work-life balance work situation for me in the past, specifically when I was working in the Middle East. And I genuinely think that now I'm able to say no whenever it's right for me. And that has taken time and it's taken effort. But I'd love to know, let me know whether you struggle to say no. Do you struggle to say no when you're feeling not your best and you're just showing up anyway? Hey, Sam. Lovely to see you here. So hanging out on the Tuesday as I work on that business plan, all the actions, fantastic. So are you struggling with that? I'd love to know. And if you're watching this on replay, let me know in the comments. What I want to do today is share some tips with you of how you can deal with that and actually just bring it to the forefront so we can talk about it and we know that it's normal to be sick and that we can say no. So I'm going to use Nisha as an example because she did a wonderful thing. So she sent me a message this morning saying, I'm so sorry, I can't make it today. I'm ill and this is what's been happening. And it was just a complete honest situation. What's the word I'm looking for? An honest admission of what was going on. In the past, I've done all sorts of things where I've said things that weren't true because I'd be scared to let somebody down, or something else has come up that I can't, some other work thing has come up, rather than just being honest about the situation. Like, this is a situation, I'm not well, and I can't show up today. And I would much rather that. I'd much rather that level of honesty than somebody showing up. And especially, when you're working in a team, if you're leading a team, you do not want to be setting that example to your team either, that it's okay when you're at death's door to show up and just slog on anyway. If you wouldn't want them to be doing it, you don't want to be showing up, you doing that and, leading a crap example. So first thing is, are we leading ourselves how we want the rest of our team to behave? And I would have a bit of introspection there. So if you are wanting your team to show up when they're at the brinks of death, I would be asking why you think that is, and digging a little deep into what your thoughts and beliefs are around when we should show up and how hard we should work and how hard we should hustle and all of that stuff. But genuinely, most of the people I come across, they want their teams to be happy and healthy. And whether you're, like I said, whether you're in a business or you're in a larger team, it is time, I think, for us all just to start leading by example and listening to our bodies. Well-being, is a topic that is talked about so much, but how much are we actioning it? How much are we actually taking into account what our bodies are telling us and when we need to slow down? So, like I said, for me, this is a really great topic personally, because I have definitely shifted from one place to the next. So when I worked in the Middle East, I would work until burnout phase. And I'm losing, I don't love the phrase burnout anymore, because I just feel like it's used all of the time. But that's what it was. I would do it until I had to go to bed for 3 days at the weekend, and I couldn't move, and I would have migraines, and I was sick all of the time. And one of my wonderful ex-colleagues messaged me about 3 or 4 months into my business, and she was like, I'd love to know how your sickness levels are now. You're working in your own business, and you choose how you work. You've got more control over that. And I was like, honestly, the change has been huge. So anybody who knew me back then, I was an extremely sickly person. I would be like, so many times illness would get the better of me. And most of the times I would push through, and I wore it like some kind of shitty badge of honor. But, like, I would show up to work and I would be sick at work, and then I would carry on working, which is now absolutely ludicrous to me. But she messaged me and she was like, how is the wellness now? You're working for yourself and you get to make all these choices. And I was like, that has been the biggest impact on my life. But it shouldn't have had to take me going self-employed to find that out, because you can, this is in your control. You can set boundaries, you can communicate those boundaries, and that's what it is all about. But knowing that, I just didn't know that back then. And it was more important for me. And this is a typical trait of high achievers, right? We just want to, show up. We're going to be the best person. We're never going to be sick. We're indispensable. You can't, we're never going to get sick. We're absolutely fine going on like this. And in actual fact, we're not. And the world would be a better place if we could all just be a little bit more honest about that. So it shouldn't have taken me to have to do that, to realize that. However, I'm in the place now where I realize it's boundaries. It is, having absolute bulletproof boundaries on what you do and what you don't do. Like, if I've got a migraine, or if I've got, I'm starting to feel ill, I'm just going to go and I'm going to rest and I'm going to lay down. And, I'm going to get this, oh, that's okay for you because you've got your own business. But, when you can't just do that when you're in the office or employed. I mean, you have sick days, right? You can, and I know it's different in different countries, different allowances, but you have the ability. Nobody is forcing you to be at work when you are physically unable to be there, or you're physically not well enough to be working. And if you are in that environment, then maybe it's a time to think, is this the culture that I want to be working in? Is it something that I want to raise? What's going on here? So really, I just wanted to have a conversation today to be like, it's okay to be sick. It is okay to be brutally honest that you are not well enough to show up for something. And the biggest thing is to get over the fact that you think you're letting somebody else down. Because I think that's what sits behind it for so many of us. And I don't know, let me know in the comments if this is something that you have felt or you've experienced. That fear that you are letting another person down by saying no. By saying, no, I can't do this today. And one thing that I haven't mentioned is, this is not just physical health. This is mental health too, right? And in the back end of my career, before I started my business, I actively would tell people that I needed to take a day because my head was made of scribble, or that I didn't feel well mentally. And, I wasn't in some deepest depths of despair, but I was listening to my mind saying, I just need to rest my mind for the day. Like, things are going on in my head that is not going to make me productive. And I was extremely lucky that I was in a team of people who understood that. But also what happened as a result of that is other people went, what, you can do that? You can say, can I take a day today, a sick day, because I feel, not at the top of my game mentally. I can do that, can I? Yeah, you can. And it made it feel okay for other people to do it. So if you're in a leadership position, and I expect many of you are, if you're leading a team, if you're leading your business, then it is time to do those things, to step up for other people, to enable other people to feel comfortable to do those things too. And I think the more we do that, the more we can spread that message, the better. So, couple of tips for saying no. Be honest. Just be completely honest about it. Like, there's nothing more important than being honest. Another thing you can do is provide alternative solutions. And this is not a must do, right? But if you have that option, if there's something that you can do to provide an alternative solution, that actually might help you to feel, do you know what? I've got this covered. I've not just dropped somebody in the shit. I've just said, okay, I can't do this right now, but what about X, Y, Z? Alternative solution. And then that reminding yourself that you're not letting other people down. You know, we all have to have backup plans with stuff that's going on and, you know, what's happening to us. And this is the perfect example, right? And Nisha said, it's just like, I'm sorry if I've let you down. And I'm like, well, it's my responsibility as a business owner. If I have something like this, you know, it's inevitable that things like that are going to happen, whether you're sick, whether you're stuck in traffic, whether your computer doesn't work, whatever that is. But I'm leading myself enough to have a backup plan. And that backup plan is today is to use that opportunity to talk about this. I could have said, you know what, it's okay. We'll just skip this week's episode. That works. It's not going to impact my business. It's absolutely fine. But that's up to me to lead my business and to have that backup plan. So having the faith and also understanding that it's not your responsibility for everybody else's, you know, to have a backup plan or whatever that might be. If you're working in an organization and there's no cover or there's no, you know, then maybe we've got something to have a conversation about. Because, and I actually had this in the last team that I was working in, if you have zero capacity to cover when things don't go to plan, you are not set up right as a team. If you are working at 100%, if every person in a team is working at 100% capacity, when something goes wrong, there is no space to pick up that slack. So technically, you are not working effectively if you are all working at 100% capacity. So that's a really interesting point to take away. If you are working in a team right now where everybody is 100%, 100 miles an hour all of the time, what happens when something goes wrong? Do you have that backup plan or that backup space for that? If not, something really, really important to look at. So they're my three most important tips. Be honest and open, think about alternative solutions, and remind yourself it's not your responsibility, you know, it is your responsibility to look after yourself and to lead yourself, and other people have you know, the capability to lead themselves too, and have backup plans and have ways to deal with, you know, changing circumstances, which are always going to happen to us. And I think in leadership and in business, those things are always going to happen. We're always going to come across things that change. Our ability to be able to deal with them is the most important thing. And if we are not looking after our health as number one, we're not going to be able to deal with them. So my challenge for you to take away is the next time you are feeling under the weather or not quite up to it, try not pushing yourself past the brink of health, productivity. You know, try stepping back a little bit and try leading from a place of compassion and looking after yourself and putting yourself first. Try that out. And if this is something that you struggle with, I would love for you to let me know. Come share it in the comments, drop into my DMs, and let's have a conversation about it, because it is something that we can all do better with and move forward with. So I'm sending my well wishes to Nisha to get better today. And I hope that next week we will be back on track with wonderful guests and sharing more about the topics that for me are both personal, are both highly impactful when it comes to leading ourselves, leading our businesses, leading our careers, and opening up conversations that are important to have like this one. I will see you next week.